Tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Rail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxRailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road at 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your windowsills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554, or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mention that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open-top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Rail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Whether you're living in a brand new home or swimming in a money pit, we've got your home improvement answers. It's Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Oh, good Saturday morning to you. Welcome into Rick's House. Thanks for joining us on the program. Let's try her again. How about them apples? I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna blame it on the cat. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna blame it on the cat. It was the cat's fault. One of them. I don't know which kitty cat it was, but it was one of them. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, his name's Boho. His name ought to be Butthole. Oh, excuse me. Can't say that on the radio, but you can say it on a podcast. Oh, that's the lovely part of what we do. You know, when I got married many moons ago, when Amy and I got married, I'm going to tell you something. I had grown up with animals outside animals. Okay. Except for that hateful little poodle that my mother always had named Prissy or Suzette or Fufu, you know. And so she, love her, bless it. I mean, I'm just going to tell you. Oh, God, that's loud. How you turn the volume down on that? No, it's not. You didn't even hear it. So anyway, it's one of those things where, and so Suzette, yes. So that being said, Lord have mercy. She, and it always hated men because it just like my mother. It's a wonder she didn't set it on fire with that Marlboro and whistle light 100 in her lips, bouncing up and down while she is sitting in her lap and she is crocheting. She is a pile of tinder ready to go up in just any minute. Now, I haven't shared with my bride this morning. And Brian, give me just a little bit here, and we'll try you again and see if we've got that fixed.
You know, for whatever reason, the computer didn't lock up this morning. I don't know. I don't, who knows? So, but I think we got it fixed, so we'll try that in the morning. But anyway, talking about my mom. I am fortunate that I have two moms. And that's a great thing. And it makes me happy. So I'm thankful for both of them and for each of them's role in my life and all that kind of stuff. Now, that's getting off track. Let's just stop chasing that rabbit and go down this other rabbit hole. The other rabbit hole is this. I haven't even got to share with Amy yet that our Pomeranian Chevy, we call him Chevers, y'all know him. He's 12. And he just smiles. Yeah, here. Yeah. And the reason I have two moms is I had my mom that brought me in the world, and then I had my mom that raised me. And then I have now that my mom that raised me's passed on and went to heaven, I have my mom that is fortunate to be back in my life, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And they're both fantastic women. So if you want to know any more about that, you'd have to be married to me. And I don't want to be married anymore except for the one I'm married to now. So I'm getting deeper. I'm not going to explain any more about that, Amy. I'm just like, well, you need to explain that to them people out there. They might think your dad was like a bigamist or not. What do you call it? A polygamist. Yeah. Oh my God, these animals. When I married my wife, I had all these animals outside, and I had just one, little old hateful poodle in the house that stayed in my mother's bedroom or wherever she was and just growled and looked at us and was ready to bite us. But I didn't have to deal with all this stuff. Now I have a house full. Come to me, my animal friends. I live like Ace Ventura. Come to me, my animal friends. And what's bad is I like it, but except when they get in my stuff. But if you own a cat, you don't have stuff. The cat allows you. We're gonna run longer today because we can. Because I want to talk to them. I want to talk to the people. That's what I want to do. So, all that being said, Angela, good to see you this morning. Thank you, hon. I don't know if I'm tiny this morning, but I'm on the process. I kind of hit a little plateau deal, and then I'm working through that. But the cold weather makes me just wears me out. But anyway, so we've got these animals. And this morning, like I said, I hadn't shared this. So now that we've got everything working the way it's supposed to, we got these infrared heaters. Well, Chevy, who is just a humongous ball of fur, his mother's throwing his bone for him, which means one trip down the hall and he's wore out. I feel his pain. So that being said, we have infrared heaters, and then one of the infrared heaters is a small fireplace that we utilize. And I look over this morning. I get up and come in here, and I turn the heater up. I made coffee, and did the things that I do to get ready to do the show. And Amy was so kindly had redid my office space for me and put everything in order, which made it great. And then the cat got up here and did something I don't know, but needless to say, it's all hooked up and running great, and everything's good now. And so I'm thinking, all right, I need to get just a little more coffee. I'm gonna go to the restroom one more time before I start the show, so I can get everything rolling the way it needs to be, all that good stuff. And bam, I turn around and look, and Chevy, this little heater is got a space about like this underneath it. He has backed his hind end up and is underneath half of his body underneath this heater, right up against where the heat blows out.
Now he's got so much fur that I guess he thinks it's his personal heat massager, and I'm thinking you're a ball of fur up against an open heat flame. You're going to go up like a cotton ball doused in kerosene. Bless it. So now I'm going to have to put it up on something where he can't back up underneath it because, bless him, he is the sweetest animal in the whole world. I love him. He's daddy's boy. He's so good. But he is dumb as a brick about some things. Love it. I promise you could set him out and he couldn't find his way home unless you was cooking something. If you was cooking something, he could find his way home from Egypt. Swim the Nile River to get to you. Or maybe if you dropped a crumb on the floor. That's all he needs. His ears don't work because he's deaf. But that nose don't work unless it's something the cat's put in the litter box or you drop something on the floor. If one of them two things happen, he's on you. Bless it. So anyway, Amy will cough a lung up here in a minute. We can move on. I'm so sorry, Angela, about that. I saw where you had broke your finger, and oh my God, that must be painful. Good gracious. And I have, anyway, I have, Lord have mercy, I got too much going on in my brain this morning. The animals just got me all tore up. Dogs in the heater, cats in the kitchen. I think there's a song about that. I don't know if they're not. No, they're good. It's all good. No, Angela was saying, since she broke her leg, her femur bone, she'd gained a little bit of weight back. I went through a thing here. My diet changed a little bit, and I swell in this cold weather, and so I've felt that same kind of bloated thing. So when you have weight loss surgery like we have, and you continue forward with that, there's all kinds of challenges. I mean, it's just part of it, and you just got to hang in there. And I was really frustrated about it yesterday. Amy and I were talking about it last night. I felt like I was, just stay to it. That's all you got to do is just stay to it, and it'll all flesh out the way it's supposed to be. So it'll be all right. One of the things I want to talk about this morning, I appreciate y'all joining us and being part of what we do each and every Saturday morning. Thank you for being there. And allowing us when we hit a boo-boo to get it corrected, because that's going to be part of it. That's going to happen on occasion. And although we don't like it, then hey, that's part of it. Now, I don't know if you can see behind me, and I probably can't because of the glare of that second light, but that's something else we're going to talk about today that we're doing as we find space in the trailer. The animals, you can probably see Boho back there. He shouldn't, well, I done told you what his name should have been. But anyway, so now that we got that going and back to the program, we'll just run a little longer today. It's okay. It's 8:30 back in East Tennessee, 7:30 here in West Texas. And for those of y'all joining us further out than that, it's 6:30 or 5:30. We're in Central Time here in this part of the state. And it's going to be cold today. Going to be, I don't know, Amy, have you seen the weather? It was 16 back home in East Tennessee. I saw they've got about 6 inches of snow, what I can gather. Y'all give me a snow report and then let me know. Angela Burns, Angie's going to have another surgery, and she's asking us to keep her in her prayers. We'll absolutely do that. Absolutely. Amy says, hey, and we'll absolutely put you in our prayers. Amy and I've had doctor visits. When you're on the road and you're traveling, if you're going to stay anywhere for any period of time, we're going to be here for a good while because there's a lot to see. And whereas we travel around, Texas is a big state. There's a lot to see. So sometimes you got to do that. And we've been fortunate to find different doctors and things as we work along the road. And that's a whole thing. We'll do a show on one time about healthcare and what you got to do and all those kinds of things and how long you have to do it and how often you have to be home and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, there's good folks everywhere. That's just part of it. And so, but yeah, we'll absolutely keep you in our prayers. But Tubius, let me know if you can call me. Okay. All right, Brian, give me just a little bit. Let me get some of this stuff out, and then we'll give that a shot here in just a little bit, and that'll be good because that's be a good test for us to make sure we got it up and running the way that it's supposed to be. So hang with me, and I'll get that done. But one of the things also that I saw this in, you know, Family Handyman is one of my favorite magazines, and they are really good. They're not a sponsor of this program. They probably don't even know who I am, and that don't matter to me. Don't care. But if something's good, I'm going to talk about it. If something's bad, I'm going to talk about it. I mean, that's one of the reasons for the podcasting is we are able to say what we want to say, do what we want to say, do it the way we want to do it. And I don't have to worry about any of those things. You know, the music's done by Epidemic Sound. Ain't nobody telling me I can't play this, can't play that, can't do this, can't do that, all those kinds of things. And I'm not saying anything about the radio stations back home. The 105.5 and 106.3 have been outstanding. They're best radio stations I've ever worked for, and their ownership is outstanding. But podcasting does give me a little bit more freedom, and we may get back on radio. I don't know. That's all yet to be determined. But the podcast part of it is I'm really enjoying, and it also gives me the opportunities to do everything. So we'll see how that goes. But I was reading in the Family Handyman, and like I said, they don't pay me jack. They ought to, but it was 15 hacks. You know, hack's a big word now. Hacks used to be a bad word. If you was called a hack, you know what I mean? That was a bad word to me, but you know, hey, what I know. But anyway, if you was a hack, you wasn't, you know, part of the group or whatever. So all that being said, but there were 15 hacks about your heat and air. And one of the things was, and I learned this from my bride because she does this kind of stuff. She's a witch doctor, by the way, certified in the ways of essential oils and that kind of stuff. Yeah, holistic healings.
I said, don't call me a witch.
Oh, I don't know what she started to say.
No, I didn't say that.
So, I mean, she does those kinds of things. And Angela, I'll answer your question here and just say it. And so I thought it was interesting because essential oils have so many uses, and she knows which ones to do for what and here for and there for and so forth. But Family Handyman says one of the best things that you can do, and we've known about this for a long time. Essential oils. I'm just going to read it. This is a quote from the Family Handyman. Essential oils in a furnace can freshen up your home's aroma. Here's what you need to know. They say there's some caveats. Let's see what they say. Here's what you need to know about successfully pulling off this hack. If you're not in the mood for baking cookies or sauteing onions and garlic, well, I don't want my house to smell like onions and garlic, but it's my belly. Another great choice for making your home smell welcoming is essential oils. Think zesty lemon, calming lavender, or woody incense. There are many ways to disperse those around your home, but if you have a central HVAC system, so heat and air, one of the easiest ways is with the furnace air freshener hack, which simply involves putting a few drops in the furnace filter. A few drops on the air filter of your furnace. Using essential oils is also preferable to air fresheners with synthetic fragrances, since many of those contain chemicals and VOCs that can cause health problems. This is huge because we never thought about that before. But anything aerosol that we spray or do, or any of those kinds of things that we got going on, all that stuff causes, it has VOCs and chemicals in it that put it in there, and we're breathing that. Now, since we've been to West Texas, well, let me finish here. if you're looking to add a little easy chair to foam, here's what you need to know and about putting that in there. Amy uses essential oils a lot. There's actually she uses them in all kinds of things, but she also has a spray like when the cats are not where they're supposed to be. What is it they dislike, Mom? Citrus. We were thinking it was. We were thinking it was cinnamon, but it's not. It's citrus oil. Mice don't like cinnamon. The cats can't stand. They don't like citrus, so she uses lemon and orange oil in there to keep them in line the way that they need to be. So if they do something bad, they get the spray bottle and they get the lemon and oil citrus spray, and they hate it. Oh man, they absolutely hate it. John, good to see you this morning. Steampunk Johnny in the house, making some of the best coffee. I hope you're up and running with your coffee again. Steampunk Johnny Coffee, you ought to check him out. He does a great job, and great friends of the program. We got to meet not long ago, and good fellow. We like John. Angela says, have you ever seen a laminated floor start to pull up in the corners? What causes that? Well, if it's right at the edge toward the wall, I would think that would have something to do with one of two things. A laminated floor, and you're talking, it has to move. So if there's something that's stopping that floor from moving, that's why we have a cough button. If there's something that's causing that floor that it's too tight and that floor can't move, I could see it pulling up on the edge. But typically it'll buckle in the middle. It'll raise in the middle like that. The other thing would be what's under it. Now, is it on a concrete floor, Angela? Is there a padding underneath it? And by the padding, I mean that's 1/8 of an inch. Does it have padding on the back of it? There's something that's causing that, because laminate's just laminate, and it shouldn't. I mean, it's like a kitchen countertop. There's got to be an exterior factor that might cause it. And I think we've talked about this once before, but I don't remember exactly what the circumstances. And of course, moisture is always an issue. You can get a moisture meter that will tell you how much moisture's in there. Or, I mean, we keep a barometer. I mean, we keep one of those things like everybody had in their house in the 70s, and the house tells you how much humidity's in your house. But they make an actual moisture meter. It's got 2 prongs on it, and you can put it down there, and it'll tell you what the moisture is in that area. It's typically designed for wood, but I would imagine that it would work against laminate, because it's just measuring moisture, and you don't have to get inside of it anyway. It seems to the guy that installed is supposed to come back and look, and it's a concrete floor. It has padding on the back of it. It's breaking up and splitting in the seams. Okay. My first question is it all the way up tight against the wall? That's the first thing I want to look at. Second of all, my next phone call is to the manufacturer. Not, I'm sure you've already called the people that you purchased it from. My next call, and I want to know who made it, and I want to get on the phone with the tech people who made it, and I want to say, here's what's happening. What do you think? Because they know their product better than anybody. And just ask for technical support. And there'll be somebody in there that deals with this kind of stuff every day that can tell you that. The next thing is I would think that we may have, that's just, I brought extra coffee to me. So I would think that, and I apologize, my allergies are wearing me out this morning. I would think that there is that you're getting moisture. I mean that's my first thing. You're getting moisture. it may be something as simple as a good six, pull the floor up and a good 6-layer Visqueen, as we used to call it, but plastic, for lack of a better term, down, and then the flooring put on top of that. Because even though that floor locks together and it's got a pad on the bottom of it, which we have in our travel trailer, and it's waterproof, you still got seams, and there's no padding in those seams. So it would make sense to me as just just in my brain, after 35 years of this business, there's a source. So either it's too tight against the wall and it doesn't have room to move, would be my first observation. If it's not too, it's got to have, they make shims that go all the way around the wall. And then you got to put shoe mold down or 3/4 round or quarter round to let it move. It's got to move. It's going to move. The second thing is you got to have moisture. And even though it's got that waterproof backing on it, in my mind, this is my opinion. In my mind, you still were those, there's still a little tiny seam there when those two panels go together. I wish I had a piece of it to show you, but I don't have a piece. We don't have an extra piece of flooring in here, a small piece. It's got a foam back on it. Now ours is waterproof, so it may be just the foam backing that's on it, which makes it easier. But if you're on top of a concrete floor, we want to make sure that concrete floor is not wicking moisture. And it's going to and temperature change. Think about that. That concrete, you don't know what's underneath it. And it's a conductor. It's a conductor of heat and it's a conductor of cold. So my thoughts would be maybe an additional barrier between the concrete and the floor itself. That's just my thoughts. I would make the phone call. You get more sugar than you do salt. That's always been my thought. And she says that he wants. She said won't let me talk to the manufacturer company. He wants to handle it first, but I think he's giving me the runaround. Okay, well, then here's what you do. Where'd you find out where you bought? Obviously, you know where you bought it. And you should have a ticket that tells you what the brand is, and you get on there and Google. And this is not a matter of throwing. The way I approach this is, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not the expert, but this is how I would do it. I would find out who the manufacturer is. I'd Google them, and I'd find out where they are. I'd call their 800 customer service number, because for two reasons, and here's why. They don't want unhappy customers. Unhappy customers are bad. They don't want that. They want their product to be happy. They want you to be happy. They want everybody to be happy. So they're more inclined typically, now not always, and I'll give you an example of that here in a minute, but typically they're inclined to make sure that you have the product is working well. And if they think it's an installation issue, they're going to tell you that's an installation issue. If they think if they think that there's a step been missed, and listen, I've missed steps. Listen, that happens. Okay. I built a garage one time, and I relied on the engineer to tell me what size trusses to use. And we used that size truss. But what he didn't tell me is that side of truss, and you all have heard this story, that size truss has deflection in it and it bows. And when they walked across their living room floor, it bounced. Well, that's unacceptable. It's acceptable to code. And it's acceptable in the building code, but it's not acceptable to me when I'm walking across my 30-foot living room, my 28-foot living room, my bonus room above my garage, and I feel like I'm on a trampoline. Thank goodness I didn't have the sheetrock ceiling underneath for the garage yet, so we went back to the manufacturer and said, here's our problem and here's what's going on. And the truss company didn't catch it, so I ate the labor and they ate the cost of the new truss, or the cost of the material to fix it. So there's a solution. but it's a matter of talking about it. Now, obviously, the installer probably don't want you to talk to him because he's afraid he's done something wrong. Well, you know, most likely he didn't do it on purpose. You know, she says, "Thank you. I think it's moisture. I have more of the flooring, so I'm going to get the number off of it and one of the boxes and call them. If you have trouble with that, reach out to me." I don't care about to not get in the middle of that. Don't want to be in the middle of arguments or those kinds of things, but it doesn't have to be an argument. Is what I'm saying. There's a problem. I'm sure the installer wants it to go away. I'm sure the manufacturer wants to go away. So let's find a solution. Obviously, you got a new floor. You want it to be a new floor. And so what I find many times is the manufacturers are willing to help with that because they don't want that out in the world. So obviously if everybody can work together, and which I know you guys will work with them any way you can, you just want your floor fixed. You know, and a manufacturer's rep is going to come down there and look at it and go, "Hey, here's the deal." Now there is the rare problem that you can get that one manufacturer's rep who was fighting with mama or her husband when she gets there and it's a bad day. That can happen in any situation, but communication is the key here. And don't let them sweep this under the rug, so to speak. The manufacturer will know. They will say, "We need to do this, 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 and this." You know, I don't know how many square feet we're talking about in that particular room, but it's not enough for them to have a problem. You know, they may very well say, "Hey, let's pull it up." And the other side of that is there may not be an installation problem. There may be a problem in the flooring itself. And if there is, they need to know about it. Now, think about this. When I was selling for Huddig Sash and Door back in the day, Huddig Sash and Door, like Dyke and many of the Georgia Flush and many of the other companies I worked for throughout my career in sales, they run about 800 interior doors a day. That's how many they made. Well, those lines had to be stopped. Those production lines had to be stopped after so many doors, and all the machinery had to be checked because if, you know, it's running. And if something gets off a 16th of an inch, then all of a sudden after 20 more doors, it's off 3/32. And after that, it's off an eighth of an inch. And the next thing you know, if you don't stop it and check it, you've got a bunch of doors that look like dog. That's a DAWG, dog. So you're really doing them a favor. Plus, the installer, if this is something that he didn't think of, or if something that the manufacturer said, "Oh yeah, you can put that right over concrete, you ain't got to put nothing underneath it," or the store company said, "Oh yeah, you know, you can put that right underneath," you know, it's an honest mistake. So everybody learns here, and it helps somebody in the future. So it doesn't have to be a dogfight. Unless nobody wants to do nothing about it. And then that's a whole different story. So I hope that was helpful. And if you need assistance, you know, with finding out who the manufacturer is and so forth and so on, then, you know, shoot me a private message, a direct message, and I'll try to help you guys with that any way I can. Get to the bottom of it, and don't care a bit. Gives me an opportunity to talk to a manufacturer and say, you know, here's what's going on. Not that I have any weight or not that I have anything or, "Oh, that's Rick Allen." No, it's none of that. But it's, if I can help, I can help because I know the questions to ask. So let me know. I'd be happy to do that. So flooring, yes, it can be challenges. That's why I love remodeling. Because with remodeling, you're taking something old and you're making something new. That's the deal. And you're taking something that ain't right. That's what I said. Ain't, AIN', ain't right. And you're making it better. Where we get in trouble with the home improvement process, in my opinion, where we get in trouble with the home improvement process is that there is no such thing, have I ever seen in my lifetime, and I don't care whose house it is and how, You can get real close to perfect, but unless you're Jesus, it ain't perfect. That's my opinion. But can you get awful close? Sure you can. Do some get closer than others? Absolutely. Brother Josh, what in the world's going on? Are y'all having a shindig? I don't think y'all in this snow. Send me a message and let me know. You got something coming up on the Weekend RV Center. We need to talk about that too on the program. Weekend RV Center been a great friend of the Rick's House program. And anytime I run into something now, no matter where I am, West Texas or Oregon or wherever Mom and I may travel, I've always been able to pick up the phone and say, hey, y'all. Hey, guys, I got a problem. Don't have a local dealer. Help me. And they're like, well, Rick, I tell you what I do. I do this. I appreciate that. That's what they do, and that's how they roll. That's why you ought to buy your camper from them. Marilyn and Alan, how in the world are y'all? Good morning. Good to hear from you. Hope all is well. Fantastic friends of the program. We appreciate that. And thank you so much for joining us and chatting with us about what you got. Now, we're going to take a short time out. And then Brian, we'll when I come back, we'll give it a try again with you and see how that works. As I figure this iPhone of mine out and see if we can't get that done. We're going to take the next time out. We're going to run a little longer today because it took us a while to get started. And we're going to talk more home improvement. We got a lot of things to talk about. We got to talk about foundation settling. I was in McCoy's Building Supply this past yesterday, actually. I'm going to show you a project that we're getting ready to do, some materials that we have. And then also we're going to chat with you about a product they haven't talked about in a long time. Go tell you a little story about that. Made some people mad at me, unintentionally, but I did. And there again, that's something else. When I'm podcasting, I can tell you what I need to tell you. And then I can tell you what I need to tell you. So we're going to take a time out. It's Rick's House. Good Saturday morning. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. That's 800-548-3554. Or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your window sills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554 or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you, they want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690, 865-599-1690.
Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Take that banjo. Good Saturday morning to you. Welcome on into Rick's House. Hey, your mama and them. Good to see you out. It's rolling the way it's supposed to. Appreciate y'all being part of what we do each and every Saturday morning. Thank you so much for being here with us and allowing us a faux pas too along the way. The beauty of live radio, live from West Texas, as we are putting together. Mom, I have a little of that coffee when you get a chance. The beauty of, thank God for the beautiful and lovely and talented Mrs. Allen Merrill. Oh, she knows how to stay outside of the camera. That's all right. I'll switch on her. Look at there. No, don't. I hate that. I haven't done my hair. No, she ain't like that. She'll throw a bill cap on the heartbeat. Country girl. We was living out west and we hadn't been nowhere in a while. About once a month we'd go to the store and we had to take both trucks we had. And I got to find that video. I got to post that video again. She hadn't drove a car in a while. We're on a gravel road out in the middle of nowhere. She's letting her eat. Daisy Duke would have been proud. Lost sheep, lost sheep, lost sheep. The shepherd, come in.
Yeah, and then I got
Then she got pulled over by the state trooper, and I went around her. I went around her up about 100 yards and stopped. And she talked him out of it. I ain't gonna say how, but she did. No, she did a little sweet talking, and then he come on up and
I think it was my southern accent. Everybody thought I was British.
yeah, everybody thought she was British. I said, well, if she is, she's Southern British.
My accent was.
I tell you all that, but yeah, we had a good time with that. Then he come up there and asked me why it stopped, and I said, well, that's my wife back there that since you pulled her over, I was able to catch her. He's got a big kick out of that. So good folks on the program. All right, Brian, call at your leisure, and we will see if we can't get you on. Now, this is an experiment, y'all. This is the first time, and we appreciate Brian doing that for us out in Lacey, Washington, as we talk home improvement. And I got a new iPhone, and I hate it, but it's necessary. And the reason I hate it is not to know anything. I don't got nothing against the iPhone or none of that kind of stuff. But I just, our kids think that, that if you got an Android phone, you're a dummy, which I guess we are, because I don't understand these iPhones, and I just mash buttons till stuff happens. So we'll see if we can get Brian in here on the program with us to ask his questions, and we'll see how that goes here this morning. And Amy's going to be monitoring it, so we'll know once we get that fixed and make sure we've got that the way it should be. And if not, he'll send me a message and tell me, and then hopefully we won't get any more Amber Alerts. That's awful, Amber Alerts. I tell you, all right, that is awfully loud. So hopefully it won't be too loud when he makes that phone call. You got the phone number for the call-in line. And like I said, I want to make sure it works before I start putting it out there, and then we'll have it each and every week to talk about things on the call-in line. I was in McCoy's Building Supply yesterday talking to my brother Dan. And McCoy's Building Supply, their motto is born to build. And I like this because I meant to show this the other day, but I didn't. I think I want this bag here. In this part of the world, McCoy's Building. Hey, let me get that right. McCoy, there we go. Righty-tighty is not righty-tighty, and lefty-loosey is not lefty-loosey. When you're in the camera, you're working backwards. Go build something. That's their other motto. Their hats say born to build that they give to their contractors. Go build something. McCoys.com. On the back of it, it says McCoy's Law. You will need a receipt to return stuff. Right there on the bag. Murphy's Law. You will need to return stuff. So one of the things that we're working on, a little project, and I can do my projects as long as I'm sitting down. My world of disabilities doesn't allow me to do the things I used to do. And I just can't. And I've accepted that. That's why we can only do radio once a week, or Rick's House once a week, because that's just how it is. As you get older and you age and you get health issues, that's just part of it. But we're going to try to do the very best we can. I don't know if you can see behind me. I took a piece of they make an MDF stairboard, and it has a rounded bull nose on it. And you can see that on the shelf behind me. Medium density fiber board, and it's a 1x12, and it's like the skirt boards that go down the side of your staircase. And it's cheaper than using a piece of solid pine. So the solid pine is stiffer. It has less deflection. But if you're nailing it to the side and you're nailing it every 16 inches to a stud, it don't matter. Well, I like to use it for shelving because it's inexpensive. A piece of 1x12 pine 8 foot is about $27, $28 here. If you can buy the same piece of MDF board, medium density fiber board for about $13. Amy said if I didn't pull this shade down where it wasn't hitting her in the face, that I'd get a spanking. So anyway, almost there. That's a general tap right there. So anyway, but it has a deflection in it. And if you look right behind me, you can kind of see the sway in it. It's got but deflection, I mean, it's got a little sway in it like that. Okay. Well, that sway is something that well, she's put some books and stuff up there. And so it's in our slide out. And so I have a limited amount of space in the headroom. And the way that these things are made, they're made with a piece in the Forest River, which is what we have. It has 3/8 plywood on the roof. And they bend it in a curve. And it has what's called a bow truss that has an arch in it. It looks like a bow, like a long string bow, a long bow, like you would have. And the trusses are on 16 inches center. And then on top of that, they have 3/8 plywood. Well, underneath that, they have 1/8 of an inch of paneling that has a smooth vinyl on it, like you would have in the old timey shower board, like we used to have in showers back in the day when that first started, and that's what you had. So that's what we got. So I need to prop that up in the middle so that it can withstand the weight, because it's going to bow, and it ain't hurting nothing, but it drives me crazy because I don't like anything that looks bowed. I want a straight line. Mama wants a straight line. Mama's all about center. I am too. If something's off center, drives me crazy. I was looking in the shower. You know, after you live in the house a while, that's when you see everything that drives you out of your mind. I was looking in the shower bracket that holds that the comes out of the faucet, and the hose comes up and it goes through a ring like this. And that ring it's just a circular ring, and it mounts to the wall, and then it comes up, and then the shower head mounts into a holder. Matter of fact, this is what the holder looks like, because I had to swap one because it was cracked. It's what holds your shower. You can pull it off. It's got a wand in it. You know, takes a while to wash, Ricky, so you got to have that. So it comes up through that. Well, I was looking at it, and instead of it being exactly level visually across the top here, it's cocked about like that. Now that means that when whoever was installing that in the factory said, close enough. Zip, zip. Now you got two holes, and every time I go in the shower, I look at it. I ain't even said nothing to my wife yet. Have you noticed that yet? She hadn't noticed it. She will now.
What? That being off center?
It's not off center. It's cocked.
Yes, I have noticed.
You noticed it? Yeah, I figured you would. So little things like that drive me out of my mind. Now, when I was younger, they didn't. If they would have, I'd able to save me a lot of trouble.
Symmetry is my friend.
Amy says symmetry is her friend. So, you know, yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. And, but it's those little things that make a difference in what you do. Don Ogle, great friend of the program, good man, owner of Ace Electric Company, which now he's retired and sold the company, but he still works probably as much as he did before, taking off plans and doing estimates, because that's what he likes to do. And after 50 years in the business, he knows his stuff. And when I have an electrical issue, and I'll cock it back up so y'all can see Permachink's name on my hat, thanks to Evan and the team. Permachink, nationwide, across the country. Great friends of Rick's house. So anyway, when you, excuse me, when you, there are certain things when you're in a business, you know, it's like when you buy a car that's new to you. All of a sudden, you've never seen that same color car, that same model on the road until you get one, and then all of a sudden everybody has one. That's the same kind of thing. Now for Dawn, when you go in and you look at a plate cover over an outlet or a switch, you've got 2 screws, and those screws have a slot in them. Well, if one of them's turned this way and one of them's turned this way, he'll pull a screwdriver out and fix it. They got to be both the same way. It can be both of them this way, or it can be both of them that way. It doesn't matter, but they've all got to be the same in the house. Because after 50 years of doing that, that's the kind of thing that bothers him. So this swag in this shelf behind me, which is hard to see because of the sunlight coming through, bothers me. So our solution was to head down to our local hardware/lumber yard, has everything, thank the world, to McCoy's, and purchase some chain. Y'all see that? That's black. So what's going to happen is this chain is going to go around, and I'm going to cut it, and it's going to go around that board. Let me set that down. It's going to go around that board, and then it's going to open up like this. And then we're going to use what's called a teacup holder hook or a cup holder hook. Now, that's a name that was kind of new to me. I didn't realize that is the name of what they call them, but that's what the name of what they call them. And so we purchased those in black as well so that they would match. And if I had my scissors, I would open this up, which I can't reach. My lovely assistant will get that for me. And I'll show you. Oh, do the hand thing. Do the hand thing. There you go. See this light right here? Can you fix that for me, sweet dog? It's good to have an assistant. God knows I need one. Amy said, well, you got that right, buddy. So, okay, that's sealed. So we're going to have to open it up a little bit more. Okay, so let's open that up. And those are good scissors. All right, here we go. So I purchased the black cup holder hooks, which is a hook like you hang your ferns on in the front, like that. And then the chain will go around the board and hook in the teacup holder, or cup holder as they're called. And we'll be able to, as we add weight to it, now we're going to have to fasten it on both ends so the ends are down so they don't just pull the board up. But we'll fasten it, and then I can adjust the center based on the weight and keep it level across there because that bothers me. And eventually over time, the longer it swags, the worse the swag gets. So that's an issue, and that's something that we're going to deal with today in order to get our books. And she's got her books up and across the way into what, so that we don't have that issue. We don't have to worry about it. Sometimes it's the little things that help when you're thinking about, I came home yesterday. I had to be out yesterday at a doctor's appointment, which that's our life now, is at getting ready to be 58 is doctor's appointments. And I got a new horse, as I call it. I got a new rollator, which is because of my neuropathy. I walk a little bit, sit a little bit, walk a little bit, sit a little bit. And I mean, walk a little bit and sit, And so I had to have one that my other one was just finally worn out. And so I was able to, our insurance provided another one for me, and I had to go pick that up and then had to stop at the store, and I was pooped. I was about done for the day, but you adapt. Well, that's the same thing we do in the remodeling world. We adapt. You adapt, overcome, whatever it takes to make it happen. You know, if I'm sitting down, I can do some things, but I can't, it's just part of it. So do what you can with what you have. If your budget's small, do small things. It's amazing what a small improvement in your home will do for you mentally. It's what it does for me. The accomplishment of that small thing can really, really make a huge difference in terms of the experience that you have in living in your home. And for me, that's what it's about. If I can correct something small, then, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. If it's something larger than that, then I have to get somebody else to do it for me. But I go ahead and do the project on paper and get everything in order to make sure I've got it the way that it needs to be so that I don't have to worry about that. Well, now, while I was in McCoy's yesterday, and for those of y'all just joining us on the program, McCoy's is our local building supply here in West Texas. I don't know where all they are, but they are many places. And they're a fifth generation family owned business. And I just like doing business with them. I like the way it's set up. Reminds me of Amy's dad's lumber yards, the way he did things. It's old school. They got plenty of help. They're going to help you. They got everything you need, from electrical to plumbing to ladders to RV stuff to whatever you need in this part of the world, because they're it. There is no Lowe's here. There is no Home Depot here. There is no Ace Hardware. There's a True Value Hardware also that does a really good job, that has a great selection and nice folks here in this part of the world. But, when you're on the road, you have to learn to do different things. And so I was chatting with Dan over at McCoy's about, oh gosh, I guess it's been 15 years ago. And I had a gentleman on who's probably retired now from Quick Creek, Quick Creek there in Jefferson County or Jefferson City Jefferson City in Tennessee, would come on my program, would come on my program quite frequently and talk about all kinds of different things. And one time I saw in the Family Handyman magazine about this new product, which was an expanding foam that you dug your hole and you put your 4x4 in there and you spray this foam in there, and the foam comes up and goes around the post, and in minutes it's secure and all that kind of stuff. And I mentioned something about it, and he never would come back on. He sent me a thing and said, "What are you doing talking about that? That's our competition." And I got to talk about new products. I didn't know if it was good or bad, and I didn't endorse it, and I didn't say anything about it. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you all the dirt, and I'm going to give you all the good about whatever product I see, and I'm going to give you my opinion about it, but it's my opinion. And my opinion that day on that product was, hey, here's something new. Is this going to be the replacement of in this application for hand mixed Quikrete, concrete, Sakrete, whatever kind of crete it is? And the response I got was, "I can't believe you're doing that." Blah, 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 blah. Well, it's out there. What are you going to do? Turn your head and hide it in the sand? It's an issue. So just so y'all know, and these are things that I can say when I'm podcasting, and that's why I like it. That's the truth of it. And I reached out to that person after, and I'm not saying names because I don't say names. That's not part of it. I reached out to that person several times. Do what, Amy? Amy does. I reached out to this person several times, and that person would never respond to me again, all because I'm trying to give you guys the information that you need. Well, I got news for that person. I'm going to continue to give you the information that you need, and I'm going to be fair about it. And if I don't know about it, I'll just say, hey, I don't know about it, but this is something that I saw. I wonder if it's worth a doggone. That's how we do things. So that being said, and I've had a couple, 3 or 4 situations like that over the years. Rick's House is here to help people. I love it. It's what I do. I work hard at it. Can't do it like I used to. But I'm going to tell what I think the truth is about whatever it is, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, it's my opinion. I don't make it the gospel, but I'm going to, and literally what I'm going to do 9.9 times out of 10 is I'm just going to give you the information that I've found so that I can save you all some work and some time, and y'all can go ahead and do what you want to do and make your own decision. It's like people ask me time, well, Rick, why do you have, back in the day, we would have multiple companies that do things. We might have 2 plumbers or 2 heat and air guys or 2 whatever. Well, the reason we have more than one and we don't have exclusivity, and there was a lot of times that when I was on several stations and doing what I used to do, that people would say, well, we'll pay you this much if you'll just talk about us. Well, that for me, I didn't feel like that one company was fantastic that I was talking about, or I wouldn't have been talking about them. But the other side of that coin is there are other companies that do some things that they don't do. Now, one of the biggest things that of those issues that I talked about, boy, I'm getting gray, ain't I? Almost completely gray. But one of the biggest things that I talked about was our friends, and we don't have Stovers. We don't do business with Stovers anymore because of our friend left, and that's that. But for many, many years, we had Stovers and we had Knoxville Salvage. We still have Knoxville Salvage, and we love Knoxville Salvage. And matter of fact, I did a post on both of my Facebook pages this past week about Knoxville Salvage, 20 plus years of supporting us. And, but people would say, well, why are you talking about Stovers? And why are you talking about Knoxville Salvage? Why are you talking about both those people? They both do the same thing. Why do you? Well, they do and they don't. And I promise you that back in the day when my buddy was there at Stovers, and still in the day with Knoxville Salvage, if they don't have something and they know somebody else does, they're going to work together, because the goal for that company is to take care of that customer. Because if they send you somewhere and that takes care of you, you're going to check them again the next time you come back. That's just good business. And that's something I see a lacking of in the corporate world today. Many of my friends and I, as we age, and I guess it's kind of like the commercials on there about the guy that's trying to help young people not turn into their parents. Well, that happens. That happens a lot. And it's hard not to do, because you look at it and you go, man, it ain't all about the numbers. It ain't all about the price. There's a whole bunch of things that figure into the process of making the decision about who you use and what you use. And, maybe that person has it and maybe they don't. It's just part of it. And so the end result of it is that if I see a product, and I know I went all the way around the fence, but we're not bound by time here, so we can talk as long as we want to. I went all the way around the fence on the long way around in order to get to the point that I'm making, is that for us, it's giving you the information so that you can make a decision. And a lot of times that's come from a mistake I made in the business, or somebody else I know made, or something I did right in the business, or something else somebody else did right. So if you can't share that and put it out there, what are you doing? That's 1 Rick 3:27. You'll find that in the Rick's House literature. I'm not going to say Bible, because we don't think we're anywhere close to the Bible. I promise you that. Just not part of it. So that being said, that's why I talk about multiple things. So I'm in McCoy's yesterday, and I look over, I'm sitting there in the rollator, because they help me get stuff, because I can't carry the big heavy things anymore. I can't carry anything, to tell you the truth, but me, and maybe a tortilla. Put that taco in my belly. But all jokes aside. Huh? Yeah, Amy said I can only eat one now. I used to I could only eat a half of one. Now I can at least eat one. I'm gonna raise this shade up and show them outside in a minute. So sun's coming up, and I'm working on the other camera. It's unfortunately the other camera that I had is very outdated, and as a result, it doesn't want to G and haul with my newer, not new computer, but new to me computer. So the end result is that I'm going to have to get another camera so that I can add outside and inside and split the screen at the same time. But no big deal. We'll make that happen. So all that being said, so before I continue to talk about this, we need to take one more time out here to at this point to let you hear from some of the folks that bring you this program, because without them, I don't get to do it. And these are great folks, and they're not many of them. Our first one in the commercial break is the Knoxville and surrounding area in Tennessee. But then when we talk about our others, they ship. They're nationwide. They have locations, and so just wherever you're listening to me at, you very well may have one of those companies there with you. And if you do, check them out, because I promise you they'll take care of you, and that's the most important thing that we do. So we're going to take a short time out to hear from some of those folks. And when we come back, we're going to jump back into the story about what I saw at McCoy's yesterday, right here on Rick's House. Hang on.
Located in the heart of East Tennessee, where they do full service plumbing and repairs, All Clear Plumbing. Will and Daniel, they know how to get the things right in your house. From a broken water pipe to an emergency repair to a water line installed, or maybe something that you never thought a plumber could do. Who do you call? You call All Clear Plumbing. Talk to Will. All Clear Plumbing, your choice for plumbing. 865-443-7752.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knox Trail Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxtrailSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed, working with log home people, and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. That's 800-548-3554, or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777, 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mentioned that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that?
That's a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you. They want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
The coffee is on. The phone lines are open. 785-9494. It's home improvement advice done right. Rick's House.
It's a household name.
To build a strong house, you gotta start with a solid foundation. This is Rick's House, the home improvement show.
Hey, y'all, this is Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House, everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Oh, good Saturday morning to you. Welcome into Rick's House. Brother Rod in the house. How you doing, my brother? You know we love you. Hope you're doing great. We're coming to you live from West Texas this morning. Also, Michael, good to see you in on the program this morning. And my brother from another mother, Rodney. Good to see you, brother. Tell him I always said, hey, your mama and them, and I know your mama's doing good, and that makes me happy because she's one of my mamas too. I got lots of mamas. I was lucky. Lots of friends. You know, we had a great group in my bunch, and was lucky that we all spent time at each other's homes and do what, Amy? Oh, you're talking to the cat. Is it talking back? So before the time, man, I was telling you about being in McCoy's here in West Texas this morning or yesterday, and I was sitting there talking to Dan and McCoy's Building Supply, and I just happened to look over, and they had a 5-gallon bucket sitting there, and with the 5-gallon bucket, they had a 4x4 in it, and they had poured some of that. You know, you mix it up. It actually comes in a bag, and you squeeze the bag up, squeeze the bag up, and do all that. And then what happens is that you once you do that, then you cut the bag open and you pour that foam in there, and then it fills the hole up and goes around the post. And so I said to Dan, I said, because Dan's been there a long time, I said, hey, I said, you know, how's that work? And he said, what? And I said, that foam stuff around that post right there. And I told him the story about me saying something about it, and my guy from Quick Creek getting offended and so forth. And he said, well, because that's been, you know, probably 15 years ago. And I just wondered, and I saw it was still around. So obviously it has some merit to it. And he said, well, you know, he said, I don't sell most of it. He said, you know, it's like anything. People get used to one thing and they stick with it. It's kind of like when PEX came out. The plumbers hated PEX because they had to buy a bunch of new equipment to use it, because it had to have new wrenches and tools and to flare the fittings and to use it. But once everybody started using it, they started liking it. Well, that don't always happen. Sometimes you try something and you don't like it. But obviously the product's doing okay because it's still around. And so I asked him, he said, well, I've never used it. He said, so really, I can't give you an opinion about it. He said, typically around here, he said, if you've got folks that are setting fence posts or, you know, need to set a gate post or something like that, he said, they just make up. He said, we carry Quick Creek. I said, what do you carry? Quick Creek, Sac Creek? He said, we carry Quick Creek. great product. Sakrete, great product. He said typically what they'll do is he said they'll utilize, he said they just dig a hole, mix it up, pour it in there, put the post in there, pour it in there, and when you do that, you always want to set your post on something so it's up off the ground, especially if you've cross-cut it. Now, if you've cross-cut that post to length, put the treated in the ground, and if not, put some treatment on it. That's something we don't ever do. If you cross-cut something that's pressure treated and it's going into the ground, it's going to hit a surface, and it's going to do that, make sure that you use or where you cross cut it, that you seal that end again. Okay. Because that's eventually it'll come through there. Posts are 0.4, which is ground contact and designed to be buried. So that's important. But anyway, he said, typically what we see in this part of the world is if they're going to, hang a gate or do something like that, or in that kind of thing, typically what they'll do is they'll just go ahead and mix the Quikrete up, and throw it in there. He said, now if they're going to set a mailbox post or, something like that, he said they'll use the foam. And the foam, boils up and it comes out of the hole, and then you have to trim it off and put the dirt on it. So, it's really just a matter of what tools you have and what you're used to. I don't know how it works in the application of something that really has to be stiff in there. I'm sure there's things on it, and maybe we need to get them on as a guest and talk about that. I'm open to it. I'm open to learning new things all the time about anything that we do, whenever we do it. I mean, that's an important part of sharing that information with you. But obviously it has a place in the market, or it would not stay here that long. I mean, that's just got to be, to me, that's got to be part of it. It has to be something that works with that. And that's important. Now, Brian had called me. And like I said, Brian, if you're listening and you want to call in again, I think we've got things set where we can do that. And now you'll go live with me when you call. And we'll try that, because I want to make sure that we're getting that. This is our, today's our first time trying the call in line and with our new setup. And, we work on that each week to try to make it better. So if you need the number again, send me a message and I'll send it to you. So we can do that, because I want to make sure it's working right before I frustrate another listener. And Brian's been a faithful listener to the program for a long, long time, and we appreciate his comments and taking time out to listen to us on Saturdays, and as we do with all of you. Infrared heaters. I'm a fan. I've been a fan of infrared heaters. It's something that we do. And while I'm thinking about it, before I forget it, I'm going to just turn this around and see if y'all can see what I see. And this is one of the reasons. I don't know if y'all going to be able to see it or not. I don't know if I've got enough cord. Yeah, there we go. Can y'all see that? I got to let it catch up on the Facebook. That's what I'm looking at this morning here in the campground. Let's see if see how long it takes it to catch up. So the view of, there it goes turning around, because I can't see what it's seeing, but we're going to work on a new camera so y'all can kind of get a feel for the setup that we have here. I don't know. Can y'all see that? So that's what we're looking at here this morning outside in the desert, where it does snow, by the way. I'll put some pictures up. Not today though. We're not dealing with that snow like y'all are, thank goodness. But infrared heaters, and Brian asked me, he said, can you recommend a good company for infrared heaters to me? And the thing about it is, from everything that I can gather, the infrared heaters are pretty much the majority of, there's different brands out there, but Magnavox makes a ton of them. They do. They make an absolute ton of infrared heaters, under a bunch of different name brands. Now, hey, Michael Walker, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you joining us on the program. There's a ton of things that are available in terms of heaters. Some of them have 2 infrared tubes, some have 4 infrared tubes, some have 6, some have 8. A couple things there. The more tubes you have, the more it's going to heat. the more tubes you have, the more energy it's going to use. The reason we like infrared heaters is because it doesn't just warm the air. You know, you're not just trying to warm air and draft. What it's actually doing is warming materials. So it warms everything around it, which allows it to continue to make things better for you. And once it gets something warm, it helps it, it'll start keeping it warm. For instance, when we first turn them on in the house, you know, it takes it a while, but once it warms the walls and starts warming the floor and the ceiling, then we're able to start turning them down as they're going along, because it's easier to maintain it once you get it warm. Now, if you let everything cool off, you got to start the whole process back over again. That's just part of it. But it works very well for us. But now, keeping in mind, we are not plugging these heaters into our existing plugs in our RV. Whether you've got a fifth wheel or whatever you've got, we're not plugging it in there. Because as Joshua and I were talking about yesterday, you know, your RV, even though it has 14.2 wire in it, the problem is not the wire itself, which really and truly, if you're going to run a 1500 watt heater, you need at least 12. But you know, you really ought to run it on a 20 amp circuit, you know, and this is my opinion. I'm not an electrician. Don't swear to be an electrician, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are from what I hear. Okay. So really a 20 amp circuit, if you want to do, I'm about overkill. A 12.2 will do it, or 12.3. If you want to really, really be safe, you can use 10, and that'll definitely do it, and a 20 amp breaker. So, you know, the problem is with RVs is you have to be careful that your breaker is, if you're splitting it with a dog bone, and by dog bone, I mean, you're taking a 50 amp and splitting it into a 30 and a 20, you got to understand that you've got to have enough override of that breaker to kick 50. So that's a concern. So you always have to have in that dog bone, when I come out of the very first thing that goes into my pedestal in the campground is a surge protector, so that I know, number one, that the power coming out of the pedestal is okay, because they get abused. And number two, I'm not going to get a surge that's going to fry the equipment that I have that it takes to run Rick's house. That's important. And it's not going to fry my TV, my computers, all those things that Amy and I use, you know, as she does what she does and I do what I do to bring you this show on Saturdays. That's an important part of what we do. Now, that being said, the receptacles, and this is where the problem lies. Wire's wire. But the receptacles that they use in RVs are, quite frankly, and you'll see this across the internet if you Google it, you know, there's some RV techs that we follow, and they'll tell you the receptacles across the board are and can be not quality. Is that a good way to put it? Not quality enough to handle that. You say, well, Rick, I've got an infrared fireplace in my RV. Yeah, you do. And Rick, it's got two settings, low and high. Yes, it does. And low is 750 watts. Yes, it is. But you know what high is? It's 1350. It's not 1500. I didn't realize that until I dug into it. It's not 1500. It's 1350. So what we do is we run our infrared fireplace, which we absolutely love and does a great job, and it's running on 1350. We run 2 additional infrared heaters. Well, Rick, how do you do that? Well, we installed 2 separate circuits that we can take loose. And on a pedestal, you have a 50 amp and a 30 amp and a 20 amp. Not every campground has that. They all don't have that. So you got a 50 and a 30 and a 20. Okay. When that happens, we're able to run 2 separate lines, one for each heater. So that each one of those heaters that will do 750 watts or 1500 watts are on their own 20 amp circuit. And that is the only thing on there. Now we also have a 120 volt dryer and we have a washing machine and a dryer in our travel trailer because going to the laundry sucks and we don't like it. And even though in the campground, but you have to load all that stuff. I can't do that. I have mobility issues, so I cannot do that. And it's too hard on my bride. And so we decided the month in that we need to do something different. So that one circuit, if it's running the dryer, it's not running the heater. It's running the dryer. If it's not running the dryer or the heater, then the air fryer is hooked into it. So it gives us the versatility to use that, because if you've ever used a gas oven in an RV, gas stovetop, fabulous. Oven, Can you use it and brown your cornbread? It takes some learning. It takes some skills. It can be done, but it definitely takes some getting used to. It really does. It's part of it, and so we just don't use the oven. It's a storage compartment on the RV because we're always looking for storage in the travel trailer. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The air fryer that we purchased, Amy was just bringing me up to speed on that, and she's exactly correct. The air fryer, we don't have one of those air fryers that looks like a pot. Get him, Chevy. Get him, Chevy. Tell him he don't like that ion on the TV. When the air fryer is also a toaster oven and also an oven. So if we don't want to, and it also does, it is a dehydrator, which we have never used. We need to start doing that. So it does it all. So, and it looks like a big toaster oven. So, you can put a 12-inch pizza in there if you want to warm a pizza up, or if she needs to make a casserole or whatever, we have that. And and it cooks cornbread, which is important. If you don't believe it, just ask me. It don't make biscuits no more because biscuits are not good for Ricky. And cornbread with olive oil is good for Ricky. Ricky likes cornbread with bacon grease, what Ricky likes. But it's one of those things that absolutely positively is it's adapting and learning what works in your situation for what you're doing to make sure that it's done the way that it should be. And that's an important part of what we do. Let's see what he says. Okay, Brian says he tried. Let's try this again. We're going to make this as we're coming toward the end of the show before the time out here. We're going to make a call and see what happens. Just to try it. And y'all bear with me because we've run a little bit over here, but this is a test, and I'm going to let y'all test with me. Because let's try it and let's see what happens. And y'all let me know if you can hear this, Amy. Huh?
Morning, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Is that you, Uncle Rick, sir?
It is. Can you hear us on the air, Mom?
Can you hear us on the air, Mom?
There we are. We got it fixed.
It sounds good, sir.
Well, we can blame that early morning faux pas on the kiddies.
Hey, no problem at all, man. I totally understand.
How does it sound on your end?
You sounded outstanding this morning on our end. Like I said, the last two shows have been good audio wise.
Well, you're live. I'm still broadcasting since I went late, and I had to restart the program. And so you're live on Rick's House with us this morning. And I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time, but I just wanted to make sure I had it fixed. So for future phone calls, we can give it out. And I'm talking to you, and you're talking live, and you're on all 5 feeds. And coming up,
Sounds great, Rick.
Coming up next week, we hope to be on Spotify and TalkShoe in addition to what we already have. So we're excited about that. Now, I didn't answer your questions. Do you have time to give them to me?
Always do for you, sir. Your expert advice is outstanding.
Well, I appreciate that. You're too kind. It'll cost you a tri-tip. But anyway, because I am in West Texas and they eat tri-tip here, brother. Not something we eat back home in Tennessee much, but you can get it down here for sure. Now, the very lovely and talented Mrs. Ekdahl had a question about that window that we had replaced, that we put you on to get replaced many times ago. And we were talking about paint outside, and you're having to repaint that every couple of years, you're telling me.
Yeah, it is. And my wife just wanted me to ask you if you can recommend a paint that can kind of resolve this for the next couple of years, or what do you recommend?
What do you have in Lacey? What stores do you have in terms of box? I mean, you probably got Home Depot and Lowe's, but what do you have? Do you have Ace Hardware? Do you have is there a local like a True Value, Ace Hardware, McCoy's? I don't know if you're familiar with them. I don't know that they're that far west. What type of building paint / hardware type stores do you have?
Well, actually, the outer windows are from the
Home Depot
company that you kind of recommended to us.
Yeah, Home Depot did those for you, didn't he?
Through Home Depot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In Home Depot, I like the Behr product, BEHR. Their reps tend to be very knowledgeable, and their paint people tend to be very knowledgeable. Now, you may have to step out of that into there are some additional companies out there that I don't know that Permachink, although they're nationwide, I don't know that they are stain people. They are not paint people. So, but you may have to step up into a Benjamin Moore or a paint it's going to cost you, but you're going to be able to deal with that. And the secret is that we were talking about earlier on the program is dealing with UV protection, because that's what's killing you. The UV protection is what's killing you. And it's just like when we paint something that's pressure treated. And they very well may have you reprimer it. I don't know. Because your paint is as good as your primer. Is it peeling at all or just fading?
It's more fading than peeling.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is the Karen of the neighborhood, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, you said it, I didn't.
I get that.
Now, there's another product that I want you to investigate. Valspar is another product that very well may have a solution for you. There are different finishes that we utilize that are built for that type of abuse. And so when you go in, you want to definitely tell them your issue is fading. Now, the key to that's also going to be is getting that faded oxidation off of there and getting that surface prepped. And that's why I say they may have you clean it really, really good and then reapply they may or may not now but you got to go with the manufacturer on this one, because once you find out what the manufacturer's warranty is, and then if you do it exactly like they say and you document it, then that's when you have warranty. Sun's going to fade anything over time. The question is how long before it fades it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay. So I would start at Home Depot. Do you have a specific paint store, like a Glidden paint, or there's several of those types, Sherwin-Williams, those types of companies? Dutch Boy, Benjamin Moore, in your area. A local paint store that does paint and paint only.
Okay, that's great advice, Rickster. Hey, what I'm seeing also that's been super advertised lately is this new tape glue.
What's it called?
That's supposed to be being able to use and to be able to resolve the issue of the tape glue. You can squirt water on it and you can pull it away and it'll never show a sign that it's been used. Have you heard of that?
I have. I haven't used it, but I've heard about it. I mean, obviously, your people like 3M and some of the other companies, Gorilla and Duck brand, are doing some things with tape and residue and then permanent adhesion and even underwater adhesion that are just unheard of. And we're utilizing a lot of that in the use in the RV world, because when they seal things, unfortunately, when they seal things in the RV world, they don't seal them the way that we want them to be sealed. It's kind of a one and done. If it makes it a year, then we're good kind of deal. It's all about quick production and mass production and not about, longevity. I haven't used that particular product, but I have seen those where you can pull it loose and use it again and that kind of thing, and without leaving that residue on there. But I haven't used it. No, I haven't.
Okay. And, my wife and I have been kicking this around for over a year to buy a motorhome.
Yep.
Like a Class C, or maybe we should, before we go out and buy that, go to a professional company that rents these vehicles out.
Absolutely.
And take them out. I agree with that 100%. And then when you say, I'm going to be bringing 3 German Shepherds along with me, then it's like, oh my God, the sliding glass door shows up. You might want to try another company.
That's unfortunate. I didn't think about that. And I know that your fur babies are important to you as ours are to us. One of the other things that you might look into and I'll look this up, but I get notifications from it. There are folks who are pet lovers who will lease their RVs out, rent their RVs out, that are pet friendly. Obviously we're not dealing with someone whose dogs aren't trained and they're not going to tear anything up. And I would emphasize in that, I just start the conversation. Look, I'm 40 years in the canine security business. I have animals that come with us that are trained. They're not going to bother your destroy or hurt the RV. What is the deposit in that application? And there's somebody out there that'll do it. I just hit them with it right out of the gate. This is a concern for us. these animals are not going to bother anything. This ain't the dog that I didn't go to the dog park and pick up a dog. Have you seen the Geico commercial? Or I think it is, no, it's Progressive. I'm at the dog park. It's the dog park. Amy makes fun of that commercial, but you're not. What your situation is unique in the fact that you're talking about an animal that's trained. So it's not going to be tearing up anything and making messes in the house and all that kind of thing. And I'd emphasize that.
It seems that their concern is not so much of aggressiveness or etc., but what kind of smell is it going to leave after you bring back your rental motorhome? And I'm thinking, okay, we can ratchet this up. What is the best motorhome that you can recommend to me to rent from you going forward? I may end up buying. And then now we get switched over to the sales department.
Yeah.
And hey, let's check your credit. Then you find out, yeah, you can buy that nice motorhome. So that being said, sir, my question is that what is the best RV to purchase that we could take off and go for a couple of months and then come back and then park it and then bring it back out for the next 3 or 4 months and travel around and come back around? I didn't think of this a lot, but if something happens to you and you're pulled off to the side of the road, and now you've got to wait 7 days to have somebody pick you up. Have you found that problem?
I have not, and here's why. There are several companies out there that provide roadside assistance, and we've tried many of them. Good Sam's is outstanding. I can call Good Sam's, and even where I'm at now in this part of West Texas, which is very sparse, I had a situation where, even though we're in an RV park at the moment, and we are unattached from the travel trailer, and we also have my wife's car and we have my truck. The battery in my truck, I did not realize I had left the dome light on, and it ran my battery down, and it ran it down so far. And this is a great conversation, and if you have time, we'll talk about it. It ran my battery down so far that it wouldn't jump. I keep a great set of jumper cables in the car. I have 2 battery chargers that have the ability to, they have a button on them where they'll hit it with a strong, like a battery pack does, but it's plugged into my unit. If I was on the side of the road, I would merely crank a generator on and plug in, and I've got immediate power. So that's not a problem for us, because I am not going to be on the side of the road without air conditioning, television, and comfort until the 2 hours it takes for them to get to me wherever I'm at. Now, many times if you're in a rural area like we are, the guy called me and he said, "Look, I'm 2 hours from you. Is that a problem?" I said, "No, it's not a problem, because actually I'm sitting in my recliner in my living room. My batteries went down on my truck. We're okay. We're fine. Get to me as soon as you can. Can you get to me today?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." But, and he called me back and he said, "I'm going to be 4:30, 5 o'clock before I can get there." I said, "That's fine." In the meantime, I get a phone. I said, "Well, I'm going to go to the store." So as I'm going to the store, I'm coming back. I get a phone call back from the company that says, "Hey, we've got another man back. He can be there in 20 minutes. I'm like, "Send him on. I'll meet him." And so he came on. So it's a matter of, for us, if we were on the side of the road I'm still going to function if I have to sit on the side of the road, if it takes them 2 hours to get there or 4 hours to get there or whatever. Now, as far as a repair that needs to be made, that's where you get into an issue. Because if you live in it, repair, and it has to be repaired, that can be a problem. Hence the reason you have mobile mechanics, but that's going to cost you more money. Good Sam's has a program where they have an extended warranty to cover those types of things for folks like us who live on the road, and having an additional vehicle, which I'm assuming that if you're going to go into a recreational vehicle that you're going to drive, you're going to pull a car behind, either on a trailer or a car hauler where you could go to a hotel if you needed to. And we could do that too, but we have everything we own in this camper, and I'm not comfortable leaving it. Not everything we own, but everything that we can put in here. I'm not comfortable leaving it in a shop somewhere. Does that make sense? So in that application, I'm going to be with that camper, and I'm going to find a place that allows me to be with that camper, or they're not going to do it for me. Sometimes, and depending upon whether it's a camper issue or whether it's a mechanical issue. So my mechanical issues, because we have two vehicles with us, are null and void, because our house can be stationary, and then we can take the vehicle that needs repaired and drop it off, and we have another vehicle to drive. But not everybody's going to have that. But if you have your RV and it's a mechanical issue, I mean, you can go and drive around. And as far as that goes, depending on what type of RV you have, you could lock up the body of the camper, the living space, and they only have access to the mechanical part of it. If it's something that they're going to have to be in my home, I'm going to be there. Does that make sense? Or they're not going to work on it. I'm going to have a mobile guy come to me. And it's going to cost more money, but we're going to go ahead and plan for that. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, of course it does. And my wife was, and I were talking, and we both said that we'd like to buy like a Class C RV where we can hook a trailer up and take our hot rod and go for a ride. And then I'm listening to you and what you're telling me, and then I do a little more Google searching, and I already knew this because the type of work that I was in, and I'm not in anymore, people today live in their RVs. And then what happens is, when you can't remove your RV off private property because your license is expired, you don't have a proper driver's license or ID, and your vehicle is not licensed to be on the road. And so the next thing I know, those type of vehicles end up in a towing yard impound lot, and then they end up being up for auction. But you don't know what's going on with that vehicle. Nonetheless, you go into that vehicle and realize that, oh my, you could kind of smell somebody's been living in here, and the mattresses aren't lined up. There are, the table is bent down a little bit, and it's got kind of a funny smell to it, like somebody's been living in it. And then you go past that to look for something else, and you go to an RV dealership, and you turn around and they say, oh, we're going to guarantee this, we're going to guarantee this, and we're going to guarantee that. So you jump in your vehicle and say, hey, this sounds like a great deal. The next thing you know, I'm in Washington State and I'm in Arizona, and the transmission, I started it up in the morning, and it doesn't want to go forward. It doesn't want to go backwards. We don't know what to do. So we contact the company that we bought the RV from, and the next thing you know, 20 days later, they look at it and say, oh, yes, you have a transmission problem. Here, call this company locally, and they will take a look at your transmission. Have you run into that problem at all?
I hear of that problem, especially with some of the larger distributors of RV products. I am a fan. There are the larger RV distribution companies have their place for me. It's been my experience and my opinion that I utilize them when I want to purchase a product from their store. I don't utilize them for repair. I hear all kinds of negative things all the time from their repair schedules and the length of time it takes and not getting stuff right. And they're keeping it, I get these stories every week, about, them not getting it right, not doing what they said, and when you're, somewhere far away, you have no time for that. Nobody does. But as far as, getting a good deal on something in their store, you can do that. So my experience is that I'll take a little of that, Mom, if you don't care. Very lovely and talented Mrs. Allen bringing the coffee this morning. I've drank about a pot and a half. That's good. Thank you, sweet dog. So what I'm doing at that point, if it's repair, I'm looking for somebody local to me. If I'm in Arizona, I'm on the horn. And, and my first option is, when we were in Arizona, and let's talk Arizona, we hit a detour and it put us on top of a mountain. And by the time I got to the bottom of the mountain, I'd blown out the brakes on my trailer, just about blown out the brakes on my truck, and had a knot on one of the back tires. And I told Jesus, if I get to the bottom, I'll never climb that hill again. And I made it to a Walmart parking lot, and I just started down the list, until I found a local guy who came to. I said, "Do you want me to come to you?" And he said, "No, I'll come to you." And he came to me and he pulled the tire off in the Walmart and told me exactly what was wrong and showed me. And then he told me what it cost to fix it. And he said, "You think you can make it 2 miles down the road to my shop?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so we went to his shop, and he said, "I need this much money to go buy the parts." And I said, "Okay." And I gave him that much money, and I was at his shop and at his house. And so he did that. And he said, "All right, it's getting late in the day." He said, "So we're going to start on this in the morning." I said, "Well, do I need to go back down to Walmart?" And he said, "No, I'm going to pull a cord and a hose from the from the shop. And y'all can sit right here on the parking lot. And then we start at 7. Y'all be up." Absolutely. And we got it done, and I hadn't had to have it fixed since. So the other issue is looking into extended warranties for those kinds of things. But you're going to get faster service from somebody local if it's mechanical or issue or any type of issue. Then you're going to get, and there's one everywhere. I mean, there's ones everywhere. I have never been anywhere, even when I was out in Oregon, so far away. There's somebody that knows and does and comes. Now, is he going to be as expensive? Is he going to be more expensive? Probably, but in the long run, it's a better expenditure of the money because he gets you back on the road in 2 days or a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's a trade-off.
Yeah. Yeah. What we call that, Rick, is in my line of goofing off with hot rods, that's the price to pay if you want to play.
That's right. It's like a boat. A boat is a hole in the water that you throw money at. But, so is a hot rod. It's something you throw money at, but you enjoy it, so you throw the money. And you're going to throw the money at it. 570 horsepower monster you.
The problem is that when you're trying to, I have found you don't want to troll around Facebook or troll around other websites to look for the cheapest RV you can find. I found that it's best to go right to the used RV dealership, pay their extra money, and have their backing on their guarantee. So if I'm sitting in Arizona from Washington State and I'm stuck in the middle of an intersection, I don't have to wait 24 hours to find out. Yeah, you're in. Yeah, it looks like we can insure you, and we'll pull your vehicle off the road. And you can say, well, it was already pulled off the road by the state patrol. What are you going to do next?
Right. Let me share this with you, and I think this will be helpful. And we're on a roll today. I don't know why, but we're on a roll, and I like it. It's making Ricky happy. So here's the deal. One of the things that with our Good Sam's plan, and this is why I like Good Sam's better than the others. The others do a fine job. That's fine. We've had many, but Good Sam's does the best job for us. This is my opinion. In my Good Sam's policy, which costs me, I don't know, $100 a year, $120 a year, something like that. I mean, the first year you got the longer you pay for it, the cheaper it gets. And then the longer you stay with them, it goes down instead of going back up. In our policy, we have the following things, and this is something that they do. Let's say that we break down and we need to get to a dealer. They will tow it to the dealer. Period. It costs you nothing. Let's say that I get sick or Amy gets sick and we end up in the hospital and they have to fly us somewhere or we have to get back home. They in their policy, and you got to ask them for this, but in their policy, they will fly. There's two things you got to do. You got to have flight insurance if you're going to travel the country. And flight insurance will fly you to wherever you need to be. And I have heart issues now. I have AFib, and with that. So, on top of what I have in my health insurance, you purchase flight insurance that flies you. Good Sam's policy will, within that policy, they will fly my wife and our pets. You hear me? Our wife and our pets home or to where I'm at or wherever they need to be. They will then pick up my travel trailer and take it to my house, my permanent residence, or to a dealer or wherever I want it to be. So if something happens to me and she needs to get back home, she can get back home. And it's took care of, and she didn't have to worry about that. To me, that's above outstanding. And that's within the policy that we purchased. We have used them for tires and jump offs and lot keys and everything across. Now they're not going to come out and fix a slide issue or something like that, and they're not going to fix a major mechanical issue. They're going to want to tow you. But like I said, I feel completely safe. And my wife feels completely safe wherever we are, that she can get somewhere where she's safe and somebody can get to her if I'm incapacitated and can't take care of what needs to be took care of. Does that make sense?
Oh, it sure does, Rick. And the other thing that I'm retired now in the business that I've been in, but the last couple of years before I retired, I was working for the city of Lacey and doing security on their parks, making sure they were locked up at night, big ball fields, et cetera, et cetera. And I rolled up, and here's a nice gentleman, and he was a very nice gentleman. I knocked on his door. I said, "Hey, sir, I'm really sorry, but I got to lock the park up. I can't have you in here this evening." And his reply was, "Well, the police already talked to me." And I said, "Oh, that's great. What did they tell you?" Well, what they told me was, since I don't have a driver's license and my vehicle is expired and I can't drive that, they told me I could stay here tonight because if I pull off city property and go onto the roadway, there's no tow truck company that will be able to impound my vehicle. And the city police won't give me a ticket because I've got my vehicle here and I'm not doing anything wrong but sleeping on city property in my motorhome.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, okay, Not a problem at all, sir. I understand. I contacted the Lacey sergeant, and he said, yeah, I'm sorry, Brian. There's not much we can do. There's no tow company that will tow his vehicle off if we let him drive on the roadway. And if we let him drive on the roadway and he gets in an accident, we are civilly responsible for that. And I said, okay, so what do we do now? Well, let him sleep in the park tonight. And then I get a phone call in the morning time. Why is this guy sleeping in our park from the city parks department? It was just a juggling act. And I think a lot of these people know this today, where they can, if they don't have insurance, their vehicle is not licensed, the tow company is not going to tow their vehicle away because they're not going to be able to get any amount of money on the impound fees, let alone somebody trying to buy it. And it's just a sad thing to see this go all the way around this way.
That's a sad state of affairs. And unfortunately, we live in a society that there are those types of folks that have learned, will spend more time learning how to break the rules than just doing what the rest of us do, which is go by the rules and not have those issues. And that's, I hate that experience, but yeah, it's out there. I mean, there's several folks on YouTube that do this thing called, that teach you about stealth camping, and they're camping all kinds of places they shouldn't be camping. And they're doing it under the radar and taking their chances, just, I guess, for the thrill of it. I ain't going to camp nowhere. There's somebody's going to knock on my door at 4:00 in the morning. I'm going to call ahead and I'm going to do that. And that's what most people are going to do. But there are those folks out there. I mean, it happens. Planning is the deal.
It really does. And when I was talking to the supervisor, because I'm working for a city, and working for the city, I have to follow guidelines, which is the same guidelines that city police are supposed to follow. And he said, Brian, what's going to happen is he's going to pull out of here. We know he doesn't have a driver's license. We know his vehicle's not registered. We know his vehicle's tabs are expired. So, and we know for a fact that the tow company that we have on contract will not take that motorhome. So that being said, if we let him out on the roadway right now, since we've documented all this, and he gets in an accident, we're going to get sued.
Could you not?
By the city.
Could they not tell him he's got to be on the outside of the gate of the park?
Yes, they told him to be on the outside of the gate of the park, which is still city property.
Yeah.
And which I said, hey, man, I'm not trying to split hairs. If I could just get him outside the gate, I can lock the gate.
Then you've done your job, and then you're free and cleared to move along.
Exactly. And then the city park manager pulls in at 4:00 in the morning, and she can't get in because the road or her entrance
blocked.
is being blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then her excuse is, how do we get a fire truck in here?
Yeah.
And I said, ma'am, I'm just a nice security man. I don't know much about fire trucks or anything. I looked at it this way. At least this person was parked outside the park. Right. And the police reply was, we can't really do anything because the tow company will not tow this vehicle off and put it in their tow yard because it takes up too much room, and these people won't do anything, and nobody will buy these vehicles on, at the auction. So they sit around and gather up dust and gather up, room to park, etc., etc. And I thought to myself that, whoa, this is just kind of a really weird thing here. And this is on city property. Well,
that's a dilemma. And unfortunately, we got those kinds of people in the world. And I'd push it back on them. That's exactly what I'd have done. I'd done the exact same thing you did. I would have done what I could do, and as long as the gate was closed, anything beyond that, that's a police matter, and a county commission matter, and a city matter, and all those kinds of things. So I mean, in my opinion, which don't count for nothing, but I think you did exactly the right thing, and we see that. I mean, as we're out traveling, there's lots of things like in our neighborhood where we're living right now. The speed limit's 5 miles an hour, and there are people that come flying in here, and they do a great job. I mean, the guys, we got the guys are out on a golf cart going, "Hey, that ain't gonna get it. There's kids on bicycles. You will be asked to leave." You know what I mean? And unfortunately, there are those kinds of folks anywhere you go. And, this makes it difficult for those of us that are trying to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course. And, Rick, and that's exactly how the park directors, I did unlock 15 parks for the city of Lacey. And the park that this person was parked in was a famous park for stadium use. Lights on till 11:30, 12 o'clock, baseball going for high schools and things like that.
Sure.
And, and like the nice park director lady said to me, she goes, "Brian, you did the best that you could do. At least you got the vehicle outside the gate and you locked it. The rest of it is on us and our local police department."
I tried.
And they're the ones that are dropping the ball because this vehicle, if they told this vehicle to drive off and get off the property and they go down 2 blocks down the street and run over somebody on a motorcycle, guess who's responsible? It's the city of Lacey because they told them to get off the property.
Everybody's scared to death of that lawsuit, my brother, and that's a shame.
That is so true. But my wife wanted me to ask you though when we, and she said, "Hey, we're going to take off and go away for 2 weeks in April. Ask your brother Rick what he recommends for a rental motorhome, like a Class C with the van front end, and what's the good name of an RV to rent, so we don't have to worry about sitting at an intersection in San Luis Obispo, California, and all of a sudden the engine starts stumbling and we have to pull it off to the road because the car died."
Well, it's been my experience that when you talk about, a Class C is going to be what, in my opinion, after all the years that we've talked on the air and off the air, a Class C is the best option for you guys because you're going to have more power and more. To me, it fits your lifestyle so much better than a Class A. And Class A's have so many more problems than a Class C because a Class C is is typically a 450. If it's a Ford or what Chevrolet or whatever, excuse me, whatever brand that you want, but it's heavy duty and it's built, and that's what work trucks are built out of. So and if it's in a rental program, it's going to be pretty new because they're leasing them or they're purchasing them and selling them, most likely leasing them. So they're going to be rotating them. And when I see them, they're newer models. So I would think, and plus they're going to be covered. I mean, they're going to be, it would be my contention, and I've never rented one, and I need to look into that because we've got a guy here locally that's what he does. I talked to him last week because I've got an issue that I need him to fix because I can't get down and crawl under my travel trailer anymore. And I told him, I said, next time you're in the park, stop by and take a look, and let's and that's what we need to do. But the other option is they probably are in a net. I would look to see if they're in a network, and I'd flat out ask them, what happens if we break down in this thing? Oh, well, our RVs are da-da-da. Well, that's great, but that's fine. But what happens? What is the procedure? what is the guidelines? Are you calling a sister dealership or someone you have an association with, and they're bringing me another one? Are you sending roadside service out to take care of it? I ain't going somewhere and sitting in the Camping World or somewhere like that, because I only have this many days for my trip. Ask those questions and make sure that's in writing, and so that then that's what I do.
What I found out, Rick, too, is from your expert advice, when you see these people advertising these motorhomes on Facebook, etc., and you start asking them about black water tank, dark water tank type of things,
yep,
they have no idea what the heck you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you must be living in that motorhome.
Yeah, if they can't tell me about the systems in the RV, I'm moving on, because that means it's not been, in my opinion, that means it's not maintained properly. Brother Tony, good to see you on the program, brother. Hope you're doing well. My buddy Tony, you'd like him, Brian. He is a Volkswagen man, and when we were all in high school, we went to different schools, but he had one of the fastest Volkswagens you ever seen in your life. Now he's in the restoration business as he's retired, and from a similar field that you were in. He was in security in my understanding. Tony, tell me if I'm wrong. Retired from the Oak Ridge National Laboratories and from their security force there and operations, and he's got one of the coolest Volkswagen vans that you've ever seen, and he takes that thing and goes to shows, and it's pretty sweet. And I believe he's working on, Tony, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm keeping up right on Facebook, he's working on a convertible Volkswagen Beetle for the chief woman in charge. So good stuff on the program. Another car guy. You know what I know about cars? Nothing except what you guys tell me. I know about houses and art, and I know about travel trailers and RVs. I know about that, but yeah, if they can't tell you about the systems in the RV, I'm just not knowing about it. Now, however, there, typically the black tank has been an issue if people don't maintain them right, but there's some products out there that can deal with that. But that also concerns me about, there's so many different things that you have to be aware of. Your RV is just like your house. If you're not doing certain things, you're creating issues that will eventually become a problem. Let's see what Brother Tony. Tony said, "Good morning, buddy. Great seeing you. My background was HVAC, so HVAC." And he said, "Yes, it's a 1978 Volkswagen convertible." Sweet. What about the Volkswagen van? Tony, let me know about that one. Well, I didn't know you did HVAC. But it's always good to know. It's a sweet deal. But that's the thing. When we decided to buy with something new. Just because we knew we were going to have it until we croaked, and we also knew that we just although you hit the depreciation, but if you keep it long enough, you get past that. And at the time, depreciation was a non-issue because of COVID and the demand, and it's still a non-issue for us, because our travel trailer is still worth a lot more than we paid for it, especially with the upgrades that we've made in flooring and adjustments and adding washer and dryer, and we put a on-demand hot water heater system in that is the lifeblood of keeping Mama happy and also keeping Ricky happy. Whatever you do when you get one, if it does not have a on-demand hot water system in it, put it in there, because I promise you 6 gallons of hot water doesn't make nobody happy. Nobody. And especially with your fur babies. So that's a concern. I'm not opposed to buying something, but I want something. If I was going to buy something used, I'd buy it from a dealer. I just would. I mean, it's just, and I'd want to know what they did and what they checked, and I'd want to know what if they put any warranty on it. I mean, that's just what I do. You know, from the mechanical side of it, you have a great advantage because you know mechanical things. So, you know, you're going to know motor and stuff like that. You know, again, Class C is going to do a lot better than a Class A, in my opinion. Class A is going to cost you, you know, a lot of. There are more mechanical issues with a Class A than a Class C, and that comes from my friends who work in the business. So, good stuff on the program this morning, my brother. I don't know if I lost you or not. Still with me, Brian?
Hey, I'm back to you, Rickster.
There you are. Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, I think Class C is the way for you to go, and I think that, you know, you know the mechanical stuff from your side of things, brakes and motors and oil changes and that kind of stuff. The RV side of it is really tanks and you know, are they winterizing it, you know, hooking it up, making sure stuff don't leak, that kind of stuff. But really and truly, I'm gonna buy something from a dealer there. I just am. You know, and probably a smaller dealer. If you can find one like our friends at Weekend RV that's family owned, and because they're not going to keep something that they can't get rid of. I mean, you know, they're going to keep something. They're going to keep something that is going to stay with them. They're not going to sell it and do away with their reputation. It just ain't going to happen. So, but anyway. Oh, and by the way, Brother Tony tells me, and I think I lost Brian, so enjoy talking with you, Brian. Bus is a 1971 bay window. I installed your HVAC in your name's first house you guys built before you went to Florida. Yes, you did. Oh my God, I had forgotten that. Yes, you did. No, the first house we built. Oh my gosh, brother. Man, I'm getting old. I forgot that. You surely did. Wow. Now I feel terrible. You know, we built so many houses. We stopped counting and moved. We stopped counting at 40 something, 44. I think we stopped, Brother Tony, I apologize. We stopped counting at 40 something over the years. Thank you for reminding me that. That is exactly right. Now I feel like a dog. And my hair is gray. Oh man, good to hear from you, brother. And thank you for reminding me of that. I guess I've just built so many and done. Amy and I were always, we've continued the nomadic lifestyle here and continue forward. So it's oh, yes, you did. And that was probably because of Jack and Missy? I mean, did we know y'all? Was it then? Was Jack and Missy then? You know, his sister's Missy Dishner, yeah. Or was Missy Dishner, you know. And hope she's doing well. I hope she's doing well. We just thank the world. We thought the world of Jack too. Didn't see that one coming. I know y'all certainly didn't, but Missy's sweet as she could be. Good folks on the program. Wow. That takes me back. Takes me way back. How cool is that? So that's good stuff on the program. Memories. You never know. You know, you think you never forget those things, but golly, dogs. As we get in those late 50s, those things come that way. Yeah, he said it was because of Jack and Missy. That's what I thought. Yeah, man, that's awesome. And I remember that now that you brought it back to my attention. I'll have to get you on talking about HVAC one day, brother. I get so many questions, and you can do that sitting in your living room. We can make that happen. I get so many questions about these split systems and all those kinds of things. Yeah, turn that heat off. It is getting hot in here. Get tons of stuff about that. And it's just HVAC is not my deal. I do not know about said things. It is not within my forte of knowing what's what. So could always use some expert opinion in that if you ever want to and you have time and you're not in the show somewhere. So, well, the day and the show has ran long. We appreciate all y'all listening to us. Thank you. We got a late start because we had a couple issues. We're going to hit the sponsors one more time before we leave you. And we're thinking about maybe doing something else during the week. We'll see how that goes. God bless you. Thank y'all for taking time out of your Saturday, especially y'all that are snowed in up there. We appreciate that. Let's take this last time out. And then, like I said, Tony, send me a private message and direct message, and let's make that happen, brother. We'd love to have you on. I would consider it an honor and would love to pick your brain because, man, HVAC is not my deal. So send me a message, brother. I look forward to it, and we can catch up. Always good on the program. Let's go to a short timeout, and I'll come back and finish it up. You're listening to Rick's House. Thank you for joining us.
Permachink Systems, protecting wood for a long, long time. Not only protecting it, but beautifying it, helping it when it's decayed. Working with log home people and also working with homeowners. They have a store on Prosser Road in Knoxville at 1605 Prosser Road. It's 800-548-3554. Or a store in Sevierville, 1357 Dolly Parton Parkway, 865-774-3307. 865-774-3307. Let me tell you what you're going to learn when you get there. Things I didn't know about. How about the Woodsman line of smooth log caulk? The other day I was looking for something that matched wood trim. I only had two choices. Not with Permachink: pine, honey, tan, cedar tone, brown, and gray. E-wood, epoxy wood putty that really works. Putty that will harden and become just like the wood itself, maybe even better. If you're missing sections of your window sills or frames or furniture or any wood structure, this is the product for you. But maybe it's something smaller. How about epoxy wood paste? Contact PCS today. Call Permachink Systems today. Toll free 800-548-3554 or at the Sevierville store, 865-774-3307, and find out how to make wood better. Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show. Let me tell you about our newest sponsor, GFL. That's Green for Life. If you're looking for that dumpster or that roll-off or that piece of equipment that's going to get that debris away from your job site, or just keep things handy around and clean around that big business that you have, GFL wants to be your partner. They want to service you, and they want to take care of you. Locations in Knoxville and Morristown, and you can call them today at 865-475-7777. 865-475-7777. Dean Kings joins me today to tell us about a special offer for Rick's House listeners. Dean.
Yeah, Rick, if they mention that they've heard about us on your show or any kind of thing affiliated with your show, we're going to waive our delivery fee for any roll-off box.
And how much is that,
That's
brother?
a $75 savings.
$75 savings right off the bat. So if you're looking for that dumpster or that open top roll-off, GFL is the company that's got them for you. They want to take care of you. They want to service you, and they do a great job for us. GFL, call them today, 865-475-7777, and mention that you heard them on Rick's House.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, and let me tell you about one of my favorite companies, Top Septic. If you need a new drain field, or maybe you're having a problem with your existing drain field, or maybe the septic tank just needs to be pumped, they are the folks that can handle it for you. They know what they're doing. They're an American-owned company run by a veteran who wants to give you the type of service that you're expecting. Top Septic. Call them today, 865-599-1690. 865-599-1690.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen, host of Rick's House Home Improvement Radio Show on the road. And let me tell you about my friends at Knoxville Salvage and Old City Kitchens. Joel Piper and the team there have been friends of this program for a long time, and they want to be your friend. Friends, they have got the best cabinets, the best products. You say, Rick, is it seconds? No, everything's first quality. They do have some seconds if you want to get a deal, but not on kitchens and not on about everything they have in the store. So trust me, they're part of our team. They want to be part of your team. And in this environment where building materials are going through the roof, they're going to have the best prices on the best products in Knoxville or anywhere in the surrounding area. Call them today. See them online. KnoxvilleSalvage.com, OldCityKitchens.com. A Rick's House favorite.
Got a question? Rick's got the answers for all your home improvement questions. It's Rick's House. Home improvement advice done right.
Tune in to Rick's House every Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30. Don't let do-it-yourself become do-it-to-yourself.
Hey, y'all, this is Kix Brooks, and you are listening to Rick's House, everything you need to know about home improvement. Here comes Rick.
Hey, y'all, this is Rick Allen. Join me every Saturday morning from 7:30 to 9:30 where you'll hear Rick's House, where you'll learn about great companies like Knoxville Salvage, Top Septic Service, and All Clear Plumbing. We'll answer your questions, we'll give you home improvement advice, and talk about your RV and your travel trailer. That's Rick's House, Saturday mornings, 7:30 to 9:30. We hope to see you there.
Oh, well, it's Rick's House. If you got a question, he'll help you figure it out. 'Cause it's Rick's House.
Good Saturday morning to you. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do each and every Saturday. And thank you for patience with us today as we've got it working. I am so excited. And thanks to all of y'all that took time to visit with us this morning. We hope you're safe in your part of the world, wherever you may be. And we look forward to visiting with you again. Stay tuned for an update. I think we're going to take the show later on Saturday mornings. That there's no reason to be up that early, especially with our listeners as we are podcasting across the country. That makes it hard on them. And for those of you guys, I think that's what we're going to do. And so thinking we'll send an update out about a little bit later showtime, which will help us greatly with our guests. And make sure that we can get them out there for you and make sure that we're giving you the best information that we can. I want to tell you, spend some time, grab those babies, hug them, love them, tell somebody, thank them for their service. If they'll let you, hang on to them. You never know. And we can tell you that from experience. So God bless you. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Rick's House.